the Acro Pole Studio for kids who can't pole good. I'm Acro Brandon, and today we're going to look at a single knee paint stir. Okay, so we're looking at some content from our 2.0 certification. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to do a couple different things. Yeah, one, we're going to set up with some preps, and then we're going to work on it. So for right now, I want you to come into a tabletop position. The knees are together, shoulders are over the wrists, and hips are over the knees. Okay. So when we do this move, we want to think about our body in relation to the front when we're doing the paint stir, because it doesn't make sense to do the paint stir to the back of the room when there's nobody watching, or if you're performing on camera or trying to record something, you want to do it from the best angle. So we're going to be working with our front leg, and it doesn't matter if you're facing this way or that way. A front leg is always the front leg as it relates to front. So the front leg is going to go through a motion where it's back, to the side and around and scooping in really tight, right? Kind of like these hip opening exercises, yes, that go these away. Yeah, they could also go the other way around, but for the sake of training, this is a one-way trip. It's back, out to the side, and back through center. Every single time in this direction and no direction otherwise, like this for the front leg, okay? The back leg is gonna be doing something almost similar, but not. The rear leg only goes straight back and then back forward. That's all it does, back and forward the entire time, okay? So now, we're gonna take this a little bit lower towards the ground. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna place our side of the head on the ground, and our hands are underneath our shoulders, and our elbows are off the ground. It's almost like we're in a tricep push-up. Okay, and from here, what we're going to do is you can point your toes and your feet, and you can bring the tops of the feet off the ground just a little bit, and you're going to think about sliding the knees straight back until you're all the way on the ground, and then you're going to tuck your knees or tuck your pelvis and pull your knees back up underneath you. And each time, notice how my hands and my head are not moving or staying in place. This is all pelvic initiation, okay? So in order to slide the knees back, I could just push backwards, but I really want to think about the pelvis tucking and tilting. If you're not familiar with liquid motion, we focus a lot on pelvic initiation through tucking and tilting, okay? So I want you to think about tilting the pelvis, and it pushes the knees back. And as you tuck the pelvis, it brings the knees back underneath you, okay? Trying to keep the head connected the entire time. Hands are underneath you, a little bit of pressure pushing off the ground. If I was flat on my stomach, it would almost be like I'm trying to hover at the bottom of a push-up without having to use as much energy, okay? So now, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna take that front leg. Remember, this front leg goes back, out to the side, and then it closes back up each time. And the higher you can bring it into your body as you tuck it in, the bigger the undulation we're gonna get in this single knee paint stir, okay? Obviously, I have knee pads on. If you don't have knee pads, you're definitely gonna want them because there's gonna be a lot of friction happening on the ground. And as well, with that front knee pad, you're actually gonna wanna hike it up a little bit more than you typically would because a lot of the paint stirring is gonna be happening on this inner area of the knee, okay? So, we'll start off nice and slow. I'm gonna hike both of these up, okay? I'm going to start down here really low, right? My head is connected. I don't really need the hands too much, but now I'm going to use them because it's going to relieve some of the stress in the neck and the face, okay? And from here, I'm going to think about tilting the pelvis. The knees start to slide back, and then that front leg starts to come out around the corner. And as I squeeze the front knee in, I tuck the pelvis, and the rear leg comes in at the same time. Boom! Reset, right? Right back to where we were. Once again, tilting the pelvis, both legs go back, and then the front knee comes out around the corner, and they both scoot back in, okay? So give this a couple tries. We're gonna continue moving on, and then we're gonna try and make this a little more fluid. So as you start to get this, you're like, oh, here we go. Out around the corner of the front and back. Whoop. See, and then my rear knee pad already slid down a little bit. I'm already getting floor burn, yes. Guts, no glory, we just gotta go for it, yes? And continue going around, boom. Right? Tuck, tilt, tuck, tilt, tuck, tilt, tuck, tilt. Yeah? Now, if you want to add a little bit of variation, we can actually look at some of the levels between where your face is in relation to the floor. We can bring it up a little bit higher, we can bring it down lower, we can stick right where we're at, we can change the tempo, right? You could do it right up here from really high, right? You can just think about, okay, here's my tilt, here's my tuck, here's my tilt, here's my tuck, and then I'm starting to bring it around here, right? Like you're trying to get your magic mic on, like you're posed over some girl right here and we're at the strip club, dude show, yes? Or maybe you want to go just a little bit lower. You want to show off the triceps while you're here and you're like, bah, right? This will give you more range as you go down to have that little tuck tilt and then the pop where you're grinding the floor as you come around. Or maybe you're like, no, I'm tired. I'm just going to stick to this one where I'm relaxed to the floor, okay? So you have a few different level options, okay? For me, there is a little bit of a tempo, and that is when the pelvis hits the floor, it signals my body to do the tucking motion to bring the knees back in. So you might want to find a little bit of a tempo because it might look like you're having a seizure if you're just going lightning fast. You're like, boom, here we go, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, hee hee. It just doesn't have that same sensual, lustrous look to it, right? You really want to go down here and grind this nice and slow. It's like back, and it could be like fast and bring it back, or it could be slow the entire time, like, juicy. And then bring it back down, or it could be like pop and up, fast and then slow, yes? And then you can maybe do something with your legs if you want to. You could have them moving back and forth, the rear one, as you undulate and bring it back around, okay? So give this a try, let me know how it's going. Once again, I'm Acro Brandon, the Liquid Motion Master Trainer. This is the single knee paint stir.